Shwmae, a croeso I Kidwelly.
And for the non-Welsh speakers, hi and welcome to Kidwelly.
In this series, we'll be bringing you some wonderful myths, legends and strange tales from around Britain, with the first three stories coming from here, beautiful South Wales.
Our first story comes from here, Kidwelly, beautiful Carmarthenshire in South Wales. It is the site of one of the best preserved castles in the UK. And our tale tells the story of a beautiful and brave warrior princess.
That's right. The castle began as a Norman ringwork stronghold, built mainly from timber around 1106 by Bishop Roger of Salisbury. During this period of history, there were many battles here in South Wales, and not just with the Normans, but with other Welsh princes, the English and the Flemish too.
During the 1130s, the castle was home to Lord Maurice de Londres, and there were various occupations of the castle by the Welsh right through till 1216. But by the 1160s, the castle was held by Griffith ap Rhys. But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Let's jump back to 1100, 6 years before the castle was built, and some 150 miles away in Ynys Môn, or better known as Anglesey in North Wales. In this year, Griffith ap Cynan, Prince of Gwynedd, and his wife Angharad had their seventh child, who they named Gwenllian. The family had a well-established and respected heritage, descending back to the High King of Ireland.
In 1113, the Prince of Deheubarth, Griffith ap Rhys, travelled to Gwynedd in North Wales to meet Gwenllian's father. Overwhelmed with Gwenllian's beauty, and despite the fact she was only 13 years of age, a short time later they eloped.
She went to join his family as Princess Consort of Deheubarth, where they had two children, Morgan and Rhys, and a third child born in Carmarthenshire, Maelgwyn.
Whilst living in their stronghold in Deheubarth, they would retaliate against their enemies and keep the gains and share them with the local Welsh population in much the same way as Robin Hood and Maid Marian. It made them quite well respected and well renowned and admired.
There was a great deal of turmoil during the English Civil War. Between 1135 and 1153, known as the Anarchy. And with everything in disarray, the Welsh took the opportunity to reclaim their lands back from the Marcher Lords, noblemen appointed by the King of England to watch the Welsh borders.
On New Year's Day in 1136, a revolt began in South Wales. It started with the Battle of Gower following the death of Henry I on the 2nd of December 1135. Hywel ap Meredydd, Lord of Brycheiniog, and his men were successful in defeating the Anglo-Norman forces led by Maurice de Londres, Lord of Kidwelly.
With spirits high and the Welsh filled with confidence, Griffith travelled to Gwynedd to plan the expulsion of the Normans with his father-in-law once and for all. But the Lord of Kidwelly, in his humiliation, began retaliating against the Welsh with several lightning raids.
Hearing that the Normans were sailing up the coast of Glamorgan, Gwenllian quickly raised a small army. However, they were ill-equipped to deal with the oncoming Anglo-Norman forces.
Gwenllian needed to buy time in order for her husband to return home and decided another guerrilla strategy would accomplish this. So she divided her forces and sent Welsh chieftain Griffith ap Llywelyn to attack the Norman ships, while the rest hid north of the castle in the woods to cut off the supply lines. But Gwenllian was betrayed by Griffith ap Llywelyn, who reported her position to the Normans.
Gwenllian rode out of the forest accompanied by her 2 sons and the small army that she had gathered. During the battle, she fell from her horse and her oldest son Morgan was killed while trying to protect her.
Maelgwyn, her other son, watched on in horror as his mother was captured. Denied any sympathy by her captors, and at the goading of the French, Maelgwyn watched as his mother was beheaded.
Gwenllian's death stirred a lot of emotion amongst the Welsh, and they vowed to seek revenge. Her husband did eventually reclaim their lands, and their son went on to become Lord Rhys, a well-known and important Welsh ruler.
Sadly, Gwenllian's husband passed a year after her death. Many said he died of a broken heart.
And for many years, Welsh soldiers would honour Gwenllian with cries of "Dail achos Gwenllian," revenge for Gwenllian.
Since her death, and even up to modern times, it has been said that Gwenllian can be seen wandering in search of her head around the Kidwelly Castle area and Maes Gwenllian, or Gwenllian's field, the field where she was beheaded.
And it is also said that she will not rest until she finds it. But story tells us that a man did find her skull on the battlefield and returned it to her.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode, and thank you for watching. Don't forget, you can see many more fascinating myths, legends and strange tales on this channel.
And you can find more information at talesoflaw.co.uk, and it would be awfully nice if you subscribed below. Bye!
Bye. Hwyl fawr.